When Sola married Funk, he fell in love with her laughter before anything else. She laughed so easily, at small jokes, at silly mistakes, at the simple absurdity of life itself. In those early, golden days of their marriage, humor flowed as naturally as breathing. They had this beautiful rhythm of teasing each other, sharing inside jokes that no one else would get, and turning awkward, clumsy moments into legendary stories they would retell for years. Laughter was the soundtrack of their love story. Then, as it always does, real life arrived, uninvited and unapologetic. The bills started piling up, creating a constant, low-level hum of anxiety. The stress from their jobs didn't just stay at the office, it followed them home, clinging to them like a shadow. Exhaustion became their third roommate, shortening their patience and fraying their nerves. The lighthearted banter was slowly replaced by arguments that felt heavy and frequent. An uncomfortable silence began to fill the spaces where laughter once echoed. Their marriage, once a source of joy and lightness, started to feel incredibly serious. It felt like work, like a burden. Too serious. One particularly draining evening, after a long, hard day for both of them, another argument erupted. This time, it was over something ridiculously small, a forgotten errand, a simple task left undone. But the small trigger unleashed a flood of pent-up frustration. Their words sharpened into daggers. The tension in the room became so thick you could almost see it, a heavy fog of resentment and exhaustion. They were on the brink of another painful, drawn-out fight that would solve nothing and leave them both feeling wounded and distant. Right at that peak of tension, Sola suddenly let out a long, weary sigh. He looked at Funk, the anger draining from his face, replaced by a look of sheer exhaustion. And then he said, "You know, at this rate, we should really start charging admission for our daily drama show." For a second, there was dead silence. Funk just stared at him, her own anger still simmering. And then it happened. A small smile flickered on her lips. It grew into a chuckle, and then into a full, uninhibited laugh. It wasn't a polite, forced laugh. It was a genuine, from-the-gut, free-spirited laugh, the very one Sola had first fallen in love with. That single moment of laughter was like a pressure release valve. It didn't magically erase the problem of the forgotten errand, but it completely shattered the tension. It softened the sharp edges of their anger and reminded them that they were Sola and Funk, not two adversaries in a battle. The anger dissipated, and they were finally able to talk calmly. The problem was resolved in minutes, without any lasting wounds or lingering bitterness. That night marked a turning point. It was a powerful reminder of a tool they had forgotten they possessed. From then on, they became intentional about bringing humor back into their marriage. It wasn't about using sarcasm as a weapon or making fun of each other to score points. It was about finding shared lightness, about choosing to see the humor in their own imperfections and the chaos of life. They developed a new kind of wisdom, learning when a joke was needed to break the tension and, just as importantly, when it was time to simply listen with an open heart. Humor became their bridge over troubled waters, not a weapon to widen the divide. It helped them navigate incredibly difficult seasons, financial stress, family issues, personal setbacks, without turning on each other. When things felt overwhelming, a well-timed joke could feel like a life raft, reminding them that they were a team. Through this journey, they discovered a profound truth. A marriage filled with laughter isn't a shallow one. It doesn't mean you're avoiding the serious issues. On the contrary, it means your relationship is flexible, resilient, and strong enough to bend without breaking. Humor constantly reminded them that they were on the same side, fighting the problems together, not fighting each other. It was a powerful antidote to pride, making it easier to admit when they were wrong and to forgive each other's mistakes. It restored perspective, shrinking massive problems down to a manageable size. Their marriage still had its challenges, of course. Life continued to throw curveballs. Humor didn't solve every single problem. It wasn't a magic wand. But what it did, consistently and powerfully, was prevent bitterness from taking root. It cleared the air, creating space for love, understanding, and connection to grow again. Sola and Funk learned one of the most vital lessons in any long-term partnership. A marriage that can laugh together can also endure together. Laughter is the glue that can hold two people together, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. It's the quiet whisper in the middle of a storm that says, "We've got this." We're in this together. So, think about your own relationships. Where can you inject a little more lightness? A little more grace? A little more laughter? It might just be the very thing that saves the day. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and leave a comment below with your own thoughts on the role of humor in relationships. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos on building stronger, happier connections. See you in the next one.